Hi there, my magical star beings. This is Psychic Siren Tarot, and welcome to the channel. In today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at your future spouse's first impressions of you. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. Before we get started with your pile selection, I'd just like to thank and give a quick word to my sponsorship, Keen. I started to feel like me and my partner have gotten a bit disconnected in our relationship, so when the Keen sponsorship came along, I thought it would be a good time to get a reading from one of their tarot readers. I asked about the future with my partner, and she predicted that our relationship would deepen through the upcoming months, and while receiving the reading, I couldn't see how, but when time came to pass, I could start to see what she said about our relationship was true. Last year, we dedicated a lot of energy into our careers, so we barely had any time to spend together as we were busy most hours of the day. So we planned ahead to take a break. It allowed us to spend more time and to be in each other's presence. We got to connect and get closer to each other again, just like the reader predicted. Ever since her prediction came true, I realized we need to make quality time a priority. And since then, our connection and bond has only gotten stronger and grown. We found our way back to each other and strengthened our connection again, so what she said definitely resonated with what happened. The love reading I got was very beautiful and sweet, and every detail mentioned was accurate and actually made sense. So I'm grateful for Keen for providing such good readings and gifted psychics, and would definitely recommend their readers to anyone. So if you would like to know more about your life or anything in general, Keen connects you with talented psychics, tarot readers, and astrologers like myself, who are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can always get a reading whenever it suits you. All you have to do is create an account and you'll be able to choose from the hundreds of readers who are online right now. These readers all have their own unique specialties and gifts, so whether it be about your love life or what to do next in your career or just life in general, they are able to provide a deeper understanding of your situation and how to navigate it from there. You can choose whichever reader best suits your needs, and you'll be able to connect with them via phone call or text chat. It's always best to get a personal psychic reading if you'd like more accurate information on your situation, because it is directed only to your energies. Now here's your chance to get a personalized reading from Keen. As a new customer on Keen, you can try your first 5 minutes for only $1. Go to trykeen.com/psychicsciencetarot or click the link in my description box to receive a discount on your first reading. Thank you, Keen, for bringing this partnership opportunity and for sponsoring today's video. That's trykeen.com/psychicsciencetarot or click the link in my description box below to get your own personalized reading today at a huge discount. So getting back to your pile selection, for pile number 1, we have the red Jasper crystal and the Empress from the Tarot of the Divine. For pile number 2, I think this is Tiger's Eye, but I could be mistaken. And we have the Artist with the Queen of Pentacles from the Chrysalis Tarot, and then for pile 3 we have Goldstone with the Knight of Swords from the Crystal Magic Tarot. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to pick a pile, pick whichever one you are most drawn to. So hopefully by now you have picked a pile. If not, you can pause the video. Once you're done picking a pile, please find the timestamps for your pile in the description box below, and then I'll see you at your reading. Hi there, my pile number 1s. If you chose this red Jasper crystal and the Empress card, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at your future spouse's first impressions of you. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. Before we get started, I just have 2 things I'd like to say. If you enjoyed tarot content and if you want to stay up to date with what I post daily, then you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button. I do also have a limited amount of space for personal readings this month, so if you'd like to book with me, you can find my email address in the description box below. So let's see, we have the Fool in the reverse. We have the Justice card. So, their future spouses' first impressions of pile number 1, please. Their future spouses' first impressions of pile number 1. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. And we have the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. So, your future spouse, when you two first meet, I see your future spouse thinking of you as very beautiful inside and out. And I see your future spouse having the first impression of you that you're a very honest and trustworthy person with the Justice card, but that you may not be fully trusting of people you first meet, like strangers. So that then it's kind of like they have to show you who they are first before you are fully involved. So I kind of sense that when you first meet your future spouse, I feel like you will be a little bit distant, but not because you don't like them, but because you're being discerning of people and who you want to surround yourself with. So I do sense that your future spouse will pick up on that you're trying to get to know them slowly, not just jump into it fully. It's not that you're not a risk taker with the Fool in reverse, but it's kind of like you sort of read the room, read the environment, the vibes before you fully are involved in it. You're a very observant person is what they get of you in their first impressions of you. And I also sense that your future spouse will have the first impression of you that you don't try to change yourself to be liked by others. You're very authentic to yourself. And you live in your truth. You try to speak your own truth. Okay? Your future spouse might get the impression of you. I almost feel like in their first impression, they're going to see you as marriage material. Because we do have the Four of Wands at the back of the deck, so I almost sense that even if your future spouse doesn't say it to you, they might not say it to you, but they might feel as though you are marriage material in some way in your first meeting. And might feel as though, this is the person I want to marry. Not that it's coming across as love bombing. No, it's not coming across as a red flag, but more so an inner knowing, like, this is my person. But I don't know if they will actually tell you that or not. Maybe they'll tell you later on, like, the first day I laid my eyes on you or met you, I knew you were the person I was going to marry, or I knew you the one for me. So I do see something like that. Your future spouse may get the impression of you that honesty and integrity is very important. It's valued within your connections. And if somebody cannot be honest with you or be loyal to you, then that is a deal breaker for you. So they might get the first impression of you that you have been hurt before by people that were dishonest or not loyal to you or not having the best integrity, you know what I mean, or good values. So your future spouse may get the first impression that that's something you look for within your connections, not just in romance, but with your friendships too, due to those past experiences where people were not trustworthy. And your future spouse may get the impression when you meet them that you have healed and moved on from this, but you're taking that knowledge from that and not letting yourself sort of be in situations where you're naive. It's like you're always one step ahead. You always see things before they happen. Your future spouse may get the impression of you that you may have been seen as a little bit naive when you were younger, where you sort of walked into situations without realizing. But I don't think you were naive. I think you were just very innocent with pure intentions, that you didn't always see other people sort of coming with negative intentions. And I don't think your future spouse would think of you as naive or think that you were naive, but maybe that people called you naive or something like that. Some of you already have children of your own, and your future spouse may sort of sense that about you before they meet you, or during their first meeting with you, or if you don't have kids of your own, there's something about your future spouse sensing something about children. Either you want children, you don't want, just getting an impression of something about children, whether you want them or not. Because I'm looking at the 2 babies here on the 2 of Pentacles. There's also something about your future spouse getting the first impression of you that you want your own independence and financial stability, but that it's also very hard carrying things on your own. So maybe that, not that you want a man that's going to provide or somebody that's going to provide, especially if you're a woman watching, if you're straight, of course, but there's something about you wanting abundance for yourself. Not that you're materialistic, but you just want to be able to have that stability and be able to have everything you need, but also get something you want once in a while. Treat yourself on it once in a while. Your future spouse will also get the first impression of you that you truly have a sense of self-love. And if you're not there yet, then it could be that in the future you gain more self-love. You start to view yourself as beautiful, just as the way you are, perfect as the way you are, internally, externally. So I do see that. Since she has praying hands, there's something about your future spouse getting the first impression of you that you could either be religious or spiritual in some way. But you have like this divine feminine energy if you're a woman watching. What else? What is their first impression of them? Ace of Wands. So your future spouse will also find you sexy, but I don't think they'll necessarily come on too strong or tell you that immediately, but they will find you sexy. But they'll also kind of overthink on what to say to you sometimes, where they're not really observing you at times, but observing what they're saying, because I feel like in their first meeting with you, they're going to find you so attractive that they're kind of like overthinking on their words, so they're not being as observant of you, if that makes sense. Your future spouse may also get the impression of you that you have a lot of passion, maybe a certain hobby you love to do that you're so passionate about, or that you're very passionate about something like your work. There's just some kind of passion here, or that, when you love people, you have a lot of passion and a nurturing energy with the Empress. They may even see you as somebody that could be a good mother or father if you want kids, of course. So next we have the 3 of Wands. So what your future spouse will see in you is that, even if you have gone through circumstances where you haven't exactly gotten what you wanted, you still believe in new beginnings. You still believe that if you still take steps towards where you want to be, you will eventually get there, even if your reality isn't reflecting that at the moment. So your future spouse will see that you do not give up. Even when times are challenging or tough, you still carry on and keep going with the belief that you can get there, even if sometimes you doubt it. We have the 7 of Pentacles. So they will get the first impression of you that you're a very hard worker, that as they get to know you better, that you're that type of person that will put in a lot of effort towards the connection. And I do sense that your future spouse will see a future with you based on the personality traits they see, even on the first meeting, the first day. Next, we have the 10 of Cups in the reverse. So your future spouse might get the impression of you, whether this is true or not, that you haven't always had the best connection to your family or to certain people you were close to in the past. Like, it wasn't always happy. But I feel so more so family. Sorry for messing up my words. I feel more so family with the Ten of Cups reversed. Like maybe you've had to work through certain feelings you've had emotionally due to conflict within your family, or not feeling like you fit in there or belong there, like feeling kind of like a black sheep. Maybe they might get that impression that you felt like that before, whether it's true or not. The Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, Four of Pentacles. So what I'm getting here is your future spouse will see you as very responsible. They will see you as somebody that is very determined and perseverant. Like I said previously, you don't give up on something you want, even if you don't see the results early on. You know how to save, you know how to take care of yourself. You're very self-sufficient. That's the first impression they get of you. And when you go through things, like let's say you go through something that is perceived as challenging, you try to learn from it and take the wisdom from it so that you're aware of it when it happens again and how to deal with it and how to deal with it as quickly as possible. So that's what I see with Judgment here and the World, that you've ended a lot of cycles within your life that you no longer wanted to be a part of by learning from the lesson. Or let's say you make a mistake. You try to learn from it and try to not put yourself down. That's the first impression they get of you. The first impression they get of you as well is that you're very romantic, that you want a love that will never end, that you may not be the type of person that likes conflict. You want peace and harmony within your connections, and that they know they'd need to offer that to you if they want that connection with you. They'd also get the first impression of you that you're a go-getter. Like when you really want something, you go after it and get it. They may also see themselves as very lucky in the fact that they got to meet somebody like you, because you seem like something they would want in love. Like I said, they see you as marriage material. They see you as somebody that they see a future with even in the first meeting. They see you as somebody that's very strong and has overcome a lot within your life with the Chariot here. It's like you've had a very hard life, but you're very strong and you've overcome it. They may even see you as the type of person that wants to travel the world or see the world, learn about different cultures, sort of like learn from other people. They may even see you as somebody that makes changes within your life when you see that something isn't working the way you want it to, or just isn't, like you're able to make changes and transformations to better your life is what I mean by that. Your future spouse will also get the first impression of you that you have that all or nothing type of love, that you like a little bit of healthy possessiveness. I don't know if possessiveness is the right word, but like a healthy sense of protectiveness, jealousy, but not in a controlling, unhealthy, possessive way. That's not what I mean. But I hope you get what I mean. Yeah. Your future spouse may also get the first impression of you that you like to dress up and express yourself through fashion, that you also enjoy experiencing the moment and taking pleasure in each moment, sort of like being present in each moment and romanticizing it. They may also get the impression of you that you may also be a little bit of an overthinker like them. Like when you want to do something, you might overthink it a little bit before you actually go and do it. And they may also get the impression of you. I'm seeing Morticia and Gomez, like their type of romance where he's kind of kissing up her arm. So maybe that you want like romance like that, where it's like you love physical affection maybe, or a person showing you romantic gestures, you know what I mean? And they'll also get the vibe from you that you feel very attracted to them and that you want like something with them in some way. They may also get the impression of you that you want the type of love that will never end. That's very sweet. Anything else before we end off? Nine of Swords, Ace of Swords, this is what I spoke about. Yeah, like they get the impression of you that you're also an overthinker, a warrior. Ace of Cups and Ten of Swords. Yeah, so you haven't exactly had the best circumstances within your connection, but you've had to heal from it with the Temperance card, alchemize from it, mentally find peace with it, have clarity about why it happened or what caused it in the first place, or just find closure mentally before you close out that chapter and move on from it and find joy again. They also get the impression of you that you're very fun to be around, that you have a good sense of humor, that you're that type of person that can find fun in many different things, that you have many different sides to you. You're not a one-dimensional person or a boring person at all. And they also get the impression of you that like you give wholeheartedly within your connections, you love to give to those you love, and you want to give in return. You want reciprocal connections. So this is what I have for you, pile number 1. This is the first impressions that your future spouse will get of you. So I really hope this reading resonated with you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hi there, my pile number 2s. If you chose this Tiger's Eye crystal and the Queen of Pentacles, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at your future spouse's first impressions of you. Please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. Before we get started, I just have 2 things I'd like to say. If you enjoy tarot picker cards and if you want to stay up to date with what I post daily, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button if you want, of course. I do also have a limited amount of space for personal readings available this month, so if you'd like to book with me, you can find my email address in the description box below. So firstly, I'm hearing the song Give Me More by Britney Spears as soon as I got to your pile. So I don't know, I feel like your future spouse will kind of sense that you are attracted to them because that song gives me like a sexy vibe. But there's also something about them sensing in their first impression of you that, like I said, you are wanting more of them. You maybe want to be spoiled. You love to be given to. You love to receive love, and it's just a love language for you, like being able to receive a lot from a person where they're spoiling you. So I don't know, maybe there's something here about princess treatment or you liking to be spoiled by the people you love, liking to be given to in some way, and that you may want to see more of them. Okay, so let's see what comes up within your cards. So with the artist here, it's like they could see you as somebody very creative, whether you are or not. And if you're not, maybe you do start to become creative before you meet your future spouse. So that could be a possibility, or they could just get that impression of you, whether it's true or not, that you like art in some way, that you have a love for art. Even if it's not painting like we see on this card, it could be, you know, a love for music, a love for just art in general, okay? So Spirit Guides of Pile 2, their future spouses, first impressions of them. We have Ma'at with Justice. So really interesting thing, when this card came out, I was thinking of protection because I saw the angel number 444 before I started your reading. So there's something about you being extremely protected, and Ma'at is the goddess of justice, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of like your future spouse will sense from you. I don't know why I'm saying sense. Maybe you're intuitive, maybe your future spouse is also intuitive, whether they realize that or not. but I see them sensing from you that you're very spiritually protected. You may have a lot of Saturn placements within your chart, Capricorn, Aquarius, or have Saturn somewhere significant in your chart. Check your Saturn placement, where it is in what house, because I see that it's almost like you're protected by the higher realms. Like if somebody does you wrong, they get instant karma. So your future spouse may be able to pick up on that energetically. I don't know why. Not that they're going to do anything to hurt you. No, I don't see them having that intention. But it's almost like they just pick up that, this is a person where if somebody messes with them, it's like they get karma, that other person. So maybe your future spouse also senses from you just intuitively that you have gone through situations in life that have been unfair to you, or people have treated you unfairly, but you've been able to come out from that on the other side with more blessings than you could imagine. And if that hasn't happened yet, it is to happen in the future. And those people just get very bad karma if they cross your path and really hurt you or mess with you in an unfair way. Also, with justice here, your future spouse gets the first impression of you that you're very honest and trustworthy, and that, you have very similar values to them, very similar morals to them of what is right and wrong. And that you also are discerning about who you let into your life. Like you can read people. I feel this is my intuitive power. You can read people and tell whether they have a good heart or not, whether they have good intentions or not, whether they are truthful or not. Like, I don't know, you can just instantly tell whether somebody's lying or whether they're truthful. I don't know if you're the same as me, but I have this gift where when somebody tells me the truth, even if I wasn't there, like let's say my friend tells me, I was at the store yesterday and the cashier gave me a compliment and I wasn't there to see it, but that's just a silly example and I get goosebumps, then I know that person's telling the truth. For me, I always get goosebumps when people tell me the truth, even if I'm not there to see it, or even if they speak in a different language. I don't know if you have a similar gift, or if you just have that gut feeling like this person's lying, this person's truthful, but they sense that you just know things, like you're able to tell whether a person's a good person or not. Next we have the sorceress with the high priestess. I love this confirmation. The fact that the high priestess came out and I was talking about intuition. So maybe your future spouse gets the first impression of you that you're very perceptive, very observant, very intuitive, maybe even spiritual in some way. There's just that energy about you where it's like, it almost feels like you see through them. It almost feels like you just get them on a deeper level, even though they've never told you anything about them. They just get that impression from you that you will fully understand them and get them. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So something about your meeting feels almost fated. I'm now hearing the song as I say that. So this is love, so this is love, so this is love. And I heard that last night as I was falling asleep, so maybe I heard it for your pile. But it's like, I almost see them thinking, maybe I never believed in fate and destiny before, but something about this feels too good to be true. Something about this feels like it's not a coincidence. Maybe they see signs before they meet you. Maybe they actually intuitively sense something's good gonna happen that day and then they meet you. I don't know, there's just something about maybe them finding a sign that they're gonna find love soon, or just feeling really positive about that day and then meeting you, or certain synchronicities happen before they meet you or as they meet you. Maybe they get deja vu when they meet you. Maybe this is a past life connection. And there's just something about this feeling fated. It doesn't feel like a coincidence. There's too many signs pointing towards this was meant to be. I think it could be different for all of you on what this is exactly, but that's how it feels with the Wheel of Fortune here. Next we have the Merlin with the Hero. And we have the Five of Mirrors, Five of Cups. I don't know why, but with your pile, I just feel like looking at the cards one by one. Maybe you're that type of person that does things one at a time. Like maybe you're more focused when you focus on one thing at a time rather than multitasking and looking at many things at once. Maybe for you, even at work, you try to focus on one task at a time, otherwise it overwhelms you. Cause I don't know, in your pile I just feel like one at a time. I don't know. But with the cat here on the Merlin, maybe you're somebody very independent. Maybe you've been through a lot of situations in life that you've just come out of. Um, it's like situations people never thought you would come out of. Just like you know how cats always land on their feet. You're like that. When you're in a situation people think is gonna be bad for you, you somehow get out of it. Unscathed is the word I'm hearing. Is that even a word? Let me just Google it quickly. But I saw the number 99, so that is the number of release. Maybe your future spouse senses that you have released a lot of pain, a lot of things that you've been through. You're very strong and you've transformed in your own way. Okay, so it does mean without suffering any injury, damage, or harm. Okay, cool. So yeah, with the Five of Cups, the hero, it's like you've had to save yourself from certain situations that were just hurting you emotionally. You've had to heal yourself from that. Nobody came to save you or to help you. You had to pick yourself up out of that. So maybe your future spouse senses about you that you're that type of person that has gone through situations in your life alone. Like when you wanted support emotionally from others, they were either never there for you or they weren't capable of giving you the support you needed or the protection you needed or the love you needed. And at times, even when you were in situations you felt were like you couldn't help yourself and you needed help from others, you had to sort of find your own way because nobody came and helped you. And it's like you had to learn to do things on your own. You had to learn to deal with certain emotions on your own, be stronger, things like that. But I almost see your future spouse thinking in their mind, like they're giving compassion to the inner child version of you because they feel they relate. It's like they see your inner child in your first meeting. And like I said, this feels like a very fated connection. It feels like you're meant to be with this person specifically in this lifetime. And it feels like a very spiritual connection, like we just get each other and understand each other on the first day even. It's just like this energetic thing I can't explain, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. When you experience this, you'll know what I'm talking about. So there's just something about them feeling as though they felt that as a child, like nobody was there for them. They had to save themselves from a lot of things, get themselves out of a lot of struggles on their own. And it's almost like they're giving compassion to your inner child, seeing your inner child, seeing your pain in your first meeting, not in a way of looking down on you, but feeling compassion for your inner child. Like, I will be there for you. I will show you that love. I will show you that support. You don't have to go through things alone. Like, I see them always thinking in their mind, you don't have to be strong and independent anymore. Like, I'll take care of you. So that's actually very cute. Okay, so what else? What is their future spouse's first impressions of them? So we have the Four of Spirals, which is the Four of Wands. So they're going to get the first impression of you. This came up in pile 1 as well, that you're marriage material. I think not instantly, but when they meet you, they're going to feel like this is a spiritual connection. Like this feels like a soulmate connection or something deeper, like I don't know, like a twin flame connection or a soulmate connection. It just feels like a spiritual connection, and it almost feels like they're just very drawn to you in their first meeting with you, and they just can't get you off their mind, and there's just something about you. And they might not think it immediately, but I think as they're getting to know you, they start to think this is my future wifey, my future husband, or my future partner, life partner. I just see them thinking of you as like, you're the type of person I want to be with forever. So I definitely see that with the Four of Wands, and they may also get the impression of you that you are looking for your future spouse, you are looking for marriage, that you may be that type of person that has that love language of acts of service. I am sensing that for some of you. Like you love to give to your lovers or just the people you love, not just lover, you know. But something about that's coming through, and that you're also very loyal. They're also going to sense a healing energy from you with the healer here. Page of Cups. So you've had to heal yourself, but you also have a very healing energy. With the bees here, bees in their beehive, I think they represent, like the beehive represents unity, community, because the bees all work together. So maybe they sense that you're that type of person that wants community, that wants people that you can rely on, things like that, where you all are on the same page as a team. And there's also something about the heart chakra, because something about bees relates to the heart chakra and the sun's energy. So maybe you're somebody very in touch with your heart. You're somebody that's very down to earth, very sweet, because they make honey. And it's almost like you just show your devotion to the ones you love. Another thing I see in terms of your future spouse's first impression of you is that you don't like people that pretend to be somebody they're not. You don't like people that are inauthentic, because you can just see right through it. You can see when a person's truly being themselves and when they're just trying to be someone you want them to be. I also feel your future spouse thinking of you as somebody that's pretty flexible in a way, either literally or there's something about you being flexible when situations happen to you. You're able to sort of maneuver around it. That's what I mean. The acrobat with the Page of Pentacles. Also, I'm getting this feeling from you that you're very humble and down to earth. You're somebody that has grown a lot and you value growth within your connections. You value real intimacy is what I hear. So that's their first impression of you. You can also be very playful and lighthearted. Like you're not always serious all the time. We have the Five of Wands in the reverse. This also came up in pile 1, but I see that you don't like conflict. You'd rather kind of like compromise in situations. I'm not saying you people please, but you'd rather compromise in a way that makes both parties happy than be right or win the kind of argument. Because you don't like arguments, you don't like conflict. You'd rather solve it as quickly as possible. Okay, and you don't like people that constantly want arguments and fights and drama. Like, you don't like that. So that's their first impression of you, but that you're also very powerful in a way, whether you realize it or not. We have the golden flower in the reverse with Temperance. I do think that your future spouse might get the impression of you that you can sometimes struggle with being patient and with having balance within your life. You may be that type of person that has struggled with having extremes where you're going extreme here or extreme here. It's like all or nothing type of energy. I hope that makes sense. Let me try give an example. So let's use an example of people pleasing versus someone with too rigid boundaries. Maybe I'm going to give that as an example, but you don't have to resonate with it. So let's say I'm a people pleaser and sometimes I'm going to the extremes of people pleasing. And then I'm going to the extremes of having too rigid boundaries where nobody can kind of get past my guard. That's an example of going from one extreme to the next. Whether that's true or not, this is just the first impression. Also that you've maybe experienced loss like the loss of somebody you love, or just lost certain opportunities or things that were important to you, but that you've also transformed. I'm also seeing Pisces energy, mutable sign energy, and I'm also seeing strong compassion, even for people that didn't maybe deserve your compassion and forgiveness. Like, you're a very forgiving person. You don't hold grudges. That's their first impression of you. We have the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Your future spouse might get the impression of you that you aren't here to work a normal job. I don't know, that might not resonate with all of you, but I don't feel like you have a normal job. Like, maybe some of you are artists, or maybe some of you have your hobby as your career, something you're passionate about. Maybe some of you are spiritual and do readings, or are actually healers. Maybe some of you are doctors or nurses, but you don't have like an average job. Like, I don't feel like this is just an average kind of situation. Like, you're very unique with a unique career. So I don't know what this is exactly. It could be something people never expect. Even if it is still a 9 to 5, it's something people wouldn't expect, or not a lot of people do. That's what I sense from the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Next, we have Gaia with the Empress in the reverse. So let's get 2 more cards, or 3. 3 of Swords, the 6 of Wands. Okay, so your future spouse might get the impression of you that you've had to work extra hard for the things you want in life. 9 of Swords. It's kind of like, let's use a silly example of you're in school and somebody that doesn't study gets a higher mark than you, but you studied so hard and it's like just an average result. It's like you've had to work much harder to get things than the people around you. Again, that Saturn energy is coming through quite strongly. This came up within a personal reading lately. You'll know if you're watching, you'll know if this is your, like, if you got a reading from me, you'll know. Maybe that person's watching this pile as well. But it's kind of like you've had to prove yourself a lot of times, and it felt very hard and draining, and it felt like it made you doubt yourself and doubt whether you were going to get the results you wanted in the first place. I feel a lesson you're learning in this lifetime that your future spouse senses is patience, 1, and to believe in yourself regardless of the results you're currently getting. To believe wholeheartedly in your manifestations, even if you don't physically see it, and trusting. Trusting in yourself, but also trusting in God, the universe, whatever you believe in. That whatever you want can be received, but you may be following the path of Saturn, the planet of lessons, where you're not getting things too easily because maybe your soul wanted to experience sort of like working for it to actually know the value of it. So let's say, for example, I don't want to go off topic, but let's say, for example, in a past life you were very rich, but you wasted all your money. Maybe in this lifetime you chose to get it slowly so that you would truly know the value of it. And I'm not saying you'll get it slowly, and that example doesn't fully have to resonate, but I'm just giving an example here. Your future spouse may also get the impression of you that you are quite angelic in some way, that you're a very pure soul, and you don't understand why there's war, why there's conflict, why there's evil in the world. Like, you just don't understand it. You don't resonate with it. Like, you're a very good person, and you don't understand people that aren't good, if that makes sense. So this is what I have for you. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hi there, my pile number threes. If you chose this gold stone crystal in the Knight of Swords, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at your future spouse's first impressions of you. Please be aware that this is a general reading, so only take what resonates, leave the rest. Before we get started, I just have two things I'd like to say. If you enjoy pick a card readings, and if you want to stay up to date with what I post daily, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button if you want, of course. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, I do have a limited amount of space for readings this month, so you can find my email address in the description box below. So, I don't know, during this pile, I'm kind of getting a little bit overstimulated with like the way my clothes feel, like my hair touching me. So I don't know if some people in this pile kind of get overstimulated by noise or by things touching you, like textures of clothes. I don't know if somebody here relates to that. I don't think everyone will relate to that, but just for somebody here, maybe your future spouse kind of picks up on that or senses that or just gets that first impression. So let's see what else comes up. So spirit guides of pile 3, their future spouse's first impressions of them. So we have the 6 of Pentacles showing up next. I heard that you truly believe in love, or you're trying to believe in true love. We have the World with turquoise. So that's maybe what your future spouse gets from you, like you're either trying to believe in true love or you still believe in it. Next we have the Wheel of Fortune with serpentine. We have the 4 of Swords with amber. And we have Strength with carnelian. So your future spouse's first impressions of you. I see your future spouse feeling like your energy feels really good. I also see that your future spouse just is drawn to you intuitively. It almost feels like a fated meeting. This also came up in pile 2, but for your pile, it's a little bit different. It's like you are fated to meet this person, or you are fated to find true love in some way. It's destined for you. And it's something you're meant to experience. But there's something about maybe going through certain life circumstances first, life lessons before you meet your actual future spouse. Maybe you go on a healing journey or go on a kind of new beginning before you meet your actual future spouse. And for some of you, you may feel as though you haven't had luck within love, and that's what your future spouse has as an impression of you. But actually, in your energy, you do have good luck within love. It's just that for some of you, you're fated to be with a specific person, and maybe you've had the wrong people come your way, and you thought they were the one for you, but they were not, and the universe kept trying to take them away from you because there's somebody that's actually meant for you. Or it could be that it wasn't the time yet for you to find love. So, like I said, you're destined for love, but maybe you're learning certain lessons before you actually get there and understanding that and ending those cycles. So maybe your future spouse gets the first impression of you that you've wanted love for a long time and you've waited for a long time, but maybe you had to go through certain lessons previously before finding love. Your future spouse also gets the first impression of you in your first meeting that you're somebody very chilled and relaxed, laid back. They feel very comfortable with you in your presence in your first meeting. And although you have this very chilled, laid back energy, you're also a go-getter and you're also very strong and resilient. I do see your future spouse finding you quite sexy, finding you quite attractive, and quite appealing to them, and they think you have very strong features that stand out. You stand out as an option in love for them, and they really are excited to get to know you more. They think you have an exciting sort of dynamic personality and presence, and that there's never a boring or dull moment if they had to get to know you. I also hear street smart. I don't know if that's for some of you, but I hear that. And your future spouse sees you as the type of person that's also very brave and fearless. Whether that's true or not, that's just their first impression of you. Like, you're able to do things most people would be scared to do, or say things most people would be scared to do but want to say or do. And that you're not impulsive, yet you still have a sense of courageousness. Of course, you think about your actions and how that may affect others. So, like I said, you're not impulsive, but you have this go getter type of energy that you're very ambitious, you have drive to get somewhere in life, to get to your goals. They may even get the first impression of you that you're quite extroverted and a social butterfly, is what I hear. Whether that's true or not, remember these are first impressions. They may also get the first impression of you that you love animals, that you love pets in some way, that you want pets of your own or that you have. I don't know, even when I'm looking at the strength card, I'm seeing like those channels that teach you about animals online, like random facts about animals, or I don't know, tigers have shown up twice. I don't know if that's significant for some of you. Maybe someone here has a tiger tattoo or likes tigers or has that tiger type of energy. Maybe tiger is a spiritual meaning to research, and maybe there's something within there. If it's not something significant to you, maybe there's a spiritual meaning behind that, where if you research the tiger spiritual meaning, there could be some messages there of their first impressions of you, perhaps. But if not, there's also just something about like knowing random facts to things. Like you being very smart and just knowing random facts to things that you're interested in. I also get that some of you in this pile are neurodivergent. I just feel the energy. Um, and of course, I can't diagnose anybody. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, but I just feel the energy because I have ADHD. So, what else? You're also very generous with the Six of Pentacles, and you seem very confident in yourself. There's a lot of sacral chakra, solar plexus energy within this pile. So, you seem very confident. They're very sexually attracted to you, and they also see you as somebody with a lot of potent, powerful energy within you. And it's also like you've learned to have confidence in yourself. You've learned to see your own value, to see what you bring to the table, not just in romantic connections or connections in general, but also to do with your work, to do with the things you want to achieve, like knowing that you can achieve it, believing in yourself. You give off that type of self-assured vibe, if that makes sense, but also a very delicious, yummy vibe, like very exciting, how I said before. When you do things in a very powerful, extravagant way. That's their first impression of you. Like someone can do something, but you'll do it better. Not that you're trying to outsmart people or outdo people or outshine people, but what Spirit is showing me is the scene from The Grinch when I think there was two families, two women, and okay, the one woman that was the mother of that other girl, I forgot her name. She was trying to decorate her kind of home in a Christmas type of vibe better than her other neighbor that the Grinch had a crush on. And she kind of outshined her. And she did it every single year where her decorations would be better, the other woman. So I almost see that maybe you kind of have this tendency to not necessarily outshine people on purpose, but it's like whatever you do it great. You do it to the best quality. You really impress people. That's the first impression they get of you. There's something also about like you having a good sense of humor. We have Judgment with Amazonite. We have the Knight of Pentacles with green Jasper. We have the Two of Swords with obsidian. We have the Two of Wands with celestite and the Eight of Wands with blue lace agate. So this feels like the type of connection where you just see each other on a deep level, where you just get each other. Like, I don't know, I feel like in your first meeting, you and this person will speak and it will kind of feel like you two just click instantly. You know those people where you feel like you have a kindred kind of, like it feels like a kindred spirit or kindred connection where it's like you just click immediately, instantaneously, and there's not many people that maybe you have that with, but with this person it just feels like you're speaking and you just get each other. Like, oh, I've experienced that too, or oh, like maybe you've experienced certain life circumstances that are very similar, or it just feels like you two think in similar ways, understand each other's sense of humor. Like I said, it just feels like you click and you see each other, you understand each other. So that's what your future spouse will feel and you will feel in your first meeting. And they'll kind of get that impression that you like looking at them, that you're attracted to them too, that you also see them the way they see you. Your future spouse may get the first impression of you that you may have not felt your most confident previously. Whether this is true or not, I don't know if this is just an assumption or projection or if this is true, but you may have not felt the most confident in yourself previously. You may have been so disappointed within the way others perceived you that you may have tried to make yourself seem confident in the past, but you weren't really. But now you have learned like a genuine self-confidence where it's not like I'm just faking it to make it. Do you get what I mean? So they might have gotten that impression of you that you might have previously had that. I'm also getting this pile could be foodies because I'm tasting food. And there's something about you also taking care of your body and making yourself look good. Taking care of your health, not just to look good, but being healthy in some way, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And your future spouse may get the impression of you that you've been very misunderstood, that certain people took traits you had and sort of made it negative in a way or put it in a negative light when it wasn't that way. That some people might have seen you as egotistical, but you're not, or too full of yourself, but you're not. You actually have a very beautiful heart. That's what your future spouse will think of you. And that you're very mysterious. Like, you don't always let people see the deeper parts of you until you develop a deep emotional connection to them, until you fully trust them. And so some people might just make assumptions about you that are not true, and therefore you feel misunderstood, but it's because they're not trying to see you in the first place, you know? It's because maybe they're taking it personal that you're not quite open with those people, you know, those people that misunderstood you. Yeah, your future spouse can tell that you have a good heart. Like when you love, you really care for that person. Like you wouldn't do anything to hurt that person. Again, there's this feeling of you being very fun to be around, very funny. They kind of sense that if they were to have a bad day, you'd be that type of person that would make them laugh or make them smile or cheer them up in some way. There's something about you always being on the lookout for opportunities with the Ace of Pentacles. and you being somebody that has grown a lot within your own life. They can see that you've healed from something, but they don't exactly know what. And they can see that you have grown a lot within your lifetime. You haven't stayed stuck within one place. They see that you're a very free spirit. You value your own sense of freedom, but you also want connection with people, and like connections where you both trust each other and can feel like you can trust each other. So what I mean by that is, let's say you get into a relationship, you value your own freedom and independence, where let's say you want to go out with your friends. Like, you don't want to give your partner a reason to not trust you. So of course you're going to be trustworthy so that they don't doubt you or your intentions of what you're going to do when you go out. But you also want a partner that trusts you enough to let you also live your life and be yourself, and not be codependent within a connection where you still have your own individuality outside of the connection. So your future spouse may get that impression that you need that type of connection where it's not like you're always with that person, where there is trust outside of the connection if you have friendships and things like that, because it's healthy to have friendships outside of romance too. So next we have the High Priestess with Labradorite. I do think that your future spouse senses a lot of things about you intuitively, just because this is like a kind of connection where you guys click and it feels like a soul connection, like pile number 2, but different in a way. The messages are different, but it's like your future spouse senses things about you that you may not upfront show or say to them, where you'll kind of be like, how did you know? If they had to tell you these things. We have the Eight of Pentacles with Zoistite. I feel like you and your future spouse will have a telepathic connection where, let's say you just think of them and then they call you or something like that. I'm seeing a telepathic bond. And we have the Hanged Man. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is like, you, like I said previously, are a go-getter. You're a very action-orientated person. When you know you want something, you go after it. And you're consistent. You don't give up until you get there. You may have had to wait a long time for things to actually results to actually reflect in your reality, but it's sort of like the more you take action towards that, the more the results start to show up, and then you get even more motivated to grow even more. You get what I mean? And it doesn't just have to be financial results, but it can be results with any goal of any kind. So maybe you're a very goal-orientated person. I'm getting manifestor generator vibes, or generator vibes, manifestor vibes. I don't know what it's called, but I researched it a long time ago. I'm a manifesting generator. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But basically what that is, Spirit is showing me that diagram I saw online, where with the manifesting generators or the manifestors or the generators, they get this kind of gut feeling or a feeling within them of passion of, yes, I need to do this. And when they get that feeling of passion, like, yes, I need to do this, and they do it to the best of their ability, that is their intuition, their soul leading them to do something. So when you feel that sense of passion, that urge to do something, and you really go after it, it's like people see you as this go-getter, this very passionate person, but it's like that is what's driving you towards your goals and towards the things you need to do. That's where your intuition lies, if that makes sense. Because I do see your intuition. Your intuition is strong, but maybe not in the third eye energy type of way, but more so that gut feeling type of way, and that passion leading you somewhere. And that passion is your soul leading you in the direction you're supposed to go. So maybe your future spouse kind of senses that you're a very passionate person, and your passion leads you to the places you're meant to be. Like, just you're destined to be there. You know what I mean? And often with these types of energies, when you think of doing something and you're like, ugh, I don't really want to do it, that's a sign that you're not necessarily in alignment. Maybe you're that type of person that needs to feel passionate about something to do it, that needs to feel that sense of motivation. So maybe you try to find passion and motivation in your daily tasks, like even if it's just cleaning the home and putting on music to make it fun. Like, your future spouse gets that impression of you that you try to make things as passionate and as fun as it can be, even if it's a boring, mundane task, because maybe that's the only way that will get you to actually get things done. Okay? So that's what I see for your reading. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.